welcome you to my office.
Thank you, sir.
I'm happy you are welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Please have a seat.
Good afternoon. Welcome to 3R in Action, where we talk about the achievements and activities of His Excellency, Distinguished Senator Hope Uzodimma, ministry by ministry. It's a personality interview program where we interact with honorable commissioners of different ministries, where they showcase and tell us the milestones they've achieved in their various ministries. My name is Shantara Danachia, SA Networking to the and Lisa, may we meet you before I will introduce my.
Good day, my sister, and good day, my very good friends from the press world. My name is Professor Johncliff Nwadike. By His grace, the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Imo State. I came to the ministry from the Imo State University, where I have served for many tenures as HOD, Department of History and International Studies, Director of Sports, Director Quality Assurance, Director Institute for Continuing Education, and by His grace, today serving in the 3R government of His Excellency, Distinguished Senator Hope Uzodimma. God bless you all.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Prof, sir. In Nigeria, schools in the northern states are always benefiting from the World Bank assisted projects. Could you please tell us how far Imo State has been able to benefit from such projects? Are we benefiting? And if no, why? What are you doing to make Imo State to start benefiting, Imo State education to start benefiting from such projects?
The World Bank is a global organization and has interest in developing the educational system. Imo State is not an exception. Previously, and also in recent time, Imo State has gained some of these programs, especially at the primary school level. Funds have been attracted for renovation of primary schools. And if you go into the rural communities today, there are many primary schools that are under reconstruction, and the governor is pushing it to see that every school that have been mapped out to benefit is actually benefiting. But I must also say that by the time I assumed office, I discovered that we've not benefited much more at other levels. Our duty in this ministry is to ensure that we go to the appropriate quarters to get the necessary links so as to approach the World Bank for more functional programs for our school system. Our universities are in dire need of it. Our secondary schools are also in dire need for such programs. Okay. So what we are planning to do, which is on board right now, is to explore more links to ensure that we benefit more from the system.
We all know that during school hours, there are still some children hawking on the streets. Is there any plans? What are the plans you have for those children to take them out of the streets? Is there any law prohibiting parents or guardians from keeping the children on the streets hawking when it is school hours. Is there any plans for such thing?
No matter the law you put in place, parents have absolute control over their words. The economic situation in the world is a global problem. It's affecting parents severally. And most of them believe that for food to be put on the table of the family, some of the kids must do one thing or the other. And the easiest way to do it is to send them into hawking. The state government frowns at it. If you go to the streets during school periods, you see some people, some kids hawking. Government frowns at it. And government has been telling parents that because education at that level is totally free, there is no need for any child to be on the street hawking when it is school hours. The government can go further to tell parents, but you see the nature of things in our system. Many parents still give one thing or the other to their words to go and market before going to school. Some of them don't go to school until after or during the break period. This is a bad situation, and the government of Imo State totally frowns at it. To ensure that this stops, we have plans, and we've already started to approach the World Bank to help the state government to put in place a program that will take all these children out of the streets during school hours. Most people are reluctant to obey the laws, but when a little force is employed, they will now know that government means business. But if the World Bank can come to our assistance and help to mobilize the ministry and the state government, I think with time, what happens in some other parts of this country will happen here, whereby there will be a systematic program to move all these vulnerable kids, especially our young girls, out of the streets so that they can actually do something. You can see that Imo State is tapping on the programs of the federal government, the feeding program of the school systems. It works in Imo State. This idea of feeding the kids is to attract them to schools so that they will not lack what to eat, especially during the day period. So if government is doing this, it then means that they are prepared to partner with the World Bank to ensure that this becomes a thing of the past.
Bible said, train up a child in the way he should go. When he is old, he will not depart from it. At that age level, I believe that that's the age you can catch them young, you can instill good manners, good morals, and you know they are the future generation. So if we keep our children, if we allow our children to be on the streets, okay, if somebody like me now, if I was on the streets hawking during school hours, I don't think I would be where I am today by the grace of God. So the foundation matters, and we look forward to your ministry being very proactive, becoming very proactive in making parents, forcing parents instead, because I think it's about time we use force this time. Some of those children, I don't think they live with their parents. Some are mates, so that's why they are vulnerable. And when you don't catch them young at that age, they turn out to become unknown gunmen. That's how it starts. Those of them that couldn't go to school or doesn't want to go to school, they should better go and engage in maybe digital economy and learn some digital skills. So parents should please see to it that their children are properly educated, are properly aligned with the latest digital skills that are available, which the government, as Imo State, is providing. And I know that the people I'm with, my senior colleagues here, I know that they have questions for you.
You're welcome.
They have questions for you. So let me start with Victor.
It's a pleasure to be here once again.
You're welcome.
You talked a bit about out of school children. First of all, I'm Victor, the news agency of Nigeria. Out of school children, you notice there are many of them in the populous streets everywhere. And some of these ones are not Igbo speaking. You notice they are migrants who have found themselves in this environment, probably because of insecurity in some parts of the country. These ones are constituting a lot of nuisance on the streets. Yes, drainages, because they have no proper toilets and other things. They are always there. I do not know if there is any effort the ministry is making to see that these ones, they are Nigerians. They are here. They have the right to live in every part of the country. How we organizing them, close synergy with probably the families and the states where they have come from to see that these ones get access to education. That's one of the questions that I have. The second one.
Let me react to that. We agree that our streets are littered with vulnerable children. And you rightly observe that most of them are not immobilized. Most of them are migrants. As a matter of fact, illegal migrants into the country. They constitute a nuisance and they make people uncomfortable. Their activities are embarrassing. And government is worried about that. I must let you know that this is not solely the responsibility of the Ministry of Education. We have some other ministries. We have the environment and some other essential ministries that can take care of them. The duty of the ministry is to ensure that when they are properly gathered and put in a particular environment where they should not constitute nuisance to the state, that is when the ministry will come in to talk of how to place them in our schools, or perhaps to create separate schools for them as special centers. So it is not something the ministry will jump in and begin to provide education for them, no. So the appropriate authorities, the appropriate ministries should do the needful by ensuring that they are removed first and foremost from the streets, put in an organized place, and that is when the ministry will come in, as a matter of fact, to provide ideas on how to enroll them in the school system.
West African examinations that are commencing officially today. You know that people are doing that there are many candidates for exams. But there will have this in place to ensure a successful period of examination.
This is a very critical question, and I'm happy it is coming from this group. Examination is the soul of this ministry. If education is given and the students are not tested and certificated, then our business here is meaningless. WAEC is almighty. The exams are commencing, as you pointed out. My ministry has done a lot to ensure that it takes off seamlessly. The first thing we did was have an interaction with the WAEC coordinator in the state and his team. We discussed in a family way on how to make our examinations free and fair to all participants. And some of the things we've put in place is making sure that schools that we quarter these exams are properly sensitized on the modalities for the exams. I've had more than 3 meetings with school principals and heads over this matter. And on each occasion, I pleaded with the principals to ensure that those they nominate as supervisors are those that they can defend their integrity. We've told them that it is no longer business as usual. Supervision is a sacred business. Supervision is not a means to make money. Supervision is not a means to extort from parents and from the students. Supervision is something that should be done to ensure that the students obey the laid down principles and guidelines towards effective examination. And we issue them with papers to read out to all the supervisors on the do's and the don'ts. And from previous exams, we were able to collect some names that were very notorious, and we sanctioned them. Some of them that were nominated as supervisors, we went to WAEC and sieved them out. You can go and further from WAEC to ensure, because we discovered that some of the supervisors are doing the opposite. So we've sensitized them enough, we've weeded them, and the people we are sending to the field this time around are people that we actually supervise the students. Secondly, together with WAEC, we were able to organize a workshop for the supervisors. Now, the workshop took place at Government College Owerri. We went there and told them that any person that violates the guidelines for these exams, we pay for it. And what I promised them, I mean I will do it. We will make sure that we discipline and sanction any person that plays ball with any person during the exams. And one way of doing that, we make sure that all of them are teachers paid by the state government, and those who will be caught cutting corners will be disciplined either by suspension, demotion, or outright expulsion. We don't want it to be business as usual again. Another thing we've done to ensure that the exams flow freely is to identify some centers people before described as miracle centers or magic centers. We visited some schools. We've told the principals what we've heard about their schools. We met with some town union leaders in such schools who collaborate with some people to dedicate certain people to do certain works that are not actually in the interest of education. And they have all seen that there must be a paradigm shift this time around. So these are some of the things we have done. And beside this, one thing we've done is to set up a monitoring committee from the ministry. That monitoring committee, we move from school to school across the 27 local government areas. Their duty is to go to ensure that things are done in the normal way. But without the knowledge of both the principals and the monitoring committee, I, with the permanent secretary, we've set up a special squad led by an ombudsman. The duty of this squad led by the ombudsman is to monitor the monitors, to supervise the supervisors, to supervise the principals. They will not know anything about the activities, but their duty is to move from school to school without any introduction. As a matter of fact, I will tell you, they are a kind of DSS to the ministry, which will be in charge to ensure that things move accordingly. And as we are speaking, to ensure that the exams take off seamlessly, Some of the practicals are starting very soon. We've made requisitions, we've applied to the state government. As we are talking, government is making some contacts to ensure that the reagents and chemicals for the practicals are supplied to schools within the next few days. So we are on ground, and these are prayers that things will work as we actually plan. I forgot one thing. We had a meeting with the stakeholders in the different communities. From reports we got before, some of them interfere unnecessarily with school functions during exams. So we've met with them and they've agreed that the local vigilantes will know their limits. Because of the situation in the state and in some parts of the country, we don't want to take security for granted. So we are ensuring that both the supervisors, the students, the principals, and work officials, and the people from the ministry are protected in the course of their duties. But we've pleaded with the communities and warned them that these local vigilantes, the tiny presidents, none of them has any business to enter any classroom or even to be within the school compound. Their duty is to stay within to ensure that security is maintained. So these are some of the things we put in place to ensure that the exams take off smoothly.
I must say you are approving your work as a round bed in the round bed. Thank you so much for all of the efforts you are putting there. Finally for me, I'd like to talk about how the home is taking advantage of the presence of a son of the state who is serving as a minister in the Federal Ministry of Education. That's an opportunity that the state is catching. How are you taking advantage of that opportunity?
When I came on board, the first thing that jolted me was the level of seizure and penalties on some of our schools during the previous exams. I was worried, and I just discovered that the penalties were too heavy. Results were withheld, and schools were asked to pay some funds. I told them that this is double jeopardy, and the punishment was so much. I ran to the Minister of State for Education, our own son, and the former Speaker of the Imo State House Assembly. We discussed, and at the end, he advised me to put up letters. We wrote a lot of protest letters to WAEC. He assisted the ministry to approach the highest organ of the WAEC. He is more worried. We talk on daily basis, and it is because of that synergy between his office and the ministry here that we have access to almost all the technical angles of WAEC in order to find a way to have the results that are still being withheld released. So in a nutshell, Honorable Goodluck Opia is a worthy son of the state, and he gives us information on the happenings around the ministry. And with his cooperation, I am very sure from what he's saying us, there will be an improvement in our educational system down here in the state. And we are prepared to tap from that advantage at any point in time.
My name is Arnold Vincent, Daily Independent. That's this nagging problem that has to do with the special schools in the state. Some of the fiscally challenged say that they're not being taken care of. The profit is not sound. Not quite on the group. Yeah, school where I get it. was a block there in place some years ago for them. The education center for the handicapped college. It's in the plan that the state government to set up more special schools for the physically challenged, as well as more adult education centers in the state.
In the first place, the physically challenged are not abandoned. They are not neglected. Government is not happy that some of them are not getting what they feel they should get. We have a special school at the Fakato Road, school for the dumb and the deaf. If you just take a walk to that place, you will see that government has not forgotten them. Everything possible is being done to ensure that they are not denied of any facility or any help to facilitate their teaching and learning. Our adult education centers are still flourishing. We are at the moment writing letters to the UNESCO to begin to give special grants to these centers. These grants are given to the centers to ensure that the vulnerable and the adults who could not benefit from education are taken care of. But I want to state categorically that the subventions from the UNESCO are dropping, and we are writing some memos to attract more funds for these adult centers. We have special education department. The directors are working. Part of the problem we have is that some of our adult centers in the rural areas are not being patronized. We have adult education centers in every local government of the state. Classes go on there. But at times, you go to such places and you don't get enough for the adult education teachers. We are trying to come up, since I came on board, with an idea. If we can attract enough funds, and we are also going to let the government know, we want to put in certain things that will attract people. The world is now a global village. We want to see whether we can introduce putting up televisions in the adult centers in the 27 local government areas, so that there be a kind of attraction to the learners. And from the question you asked, government presently is planning to establish few special centers to take care of the people that are vulnerable, apart from the one at Orodo. So those people should just exercise a little patience. Government, as I said, can never forget them. Government can never abandon them. It is the duty of this ministry to constantly remind government and UNESCO that these people need more assistance by way of providing conducive environment for teaching and learning for them.
Is it true that the government is planning to abolish co-education public schools?
To abolish what?
Co-education public schools. That is saying that this school must be paying for boys, this school must be paying for girls. No more a school containing both female and male students. government thinking around that?
Well, this is the Ministry of Education. And whatever programs government has in mind, as far as education is concerned, is first communicated to the ministry for her input. There is no way, and for now, I'm stating it categorically, that this ministry is not aware that there are plans to abolish co-educational institutions. 2 months ago, we had exhibitions by our technical schools, and government made a pronouncement through this ministry that there are plans to establish more technical schools for both boys and girls so that they can compete in terms of innovation. So if government is saying that they are ready to provide more technical schools for boys and girls to compete, I don't think that government has started thinking in terms of actually making co-educational institutions not functional again in the state. Remember, many communities have only one school. Some don't have. If you now say that co-educational institutions are abrogated in a community that has only one school, how do you expect them to cope? So if the ministry is approached along this line, it is a good idea, but the timing is not proper. So to answer your question, this ministry is not aware of that, and I don't think government has in any way contemplated that. Those who are rooting these ideas are doing it perhaps to create a problem between government and the communities that have co-educational institutions. So if we are asked to give our own impulse, it is not now. That's what things could be done.
I want to ask you something, sir. I don't know if you have realized that there's so many private schools these days in Imo State, and they're half-baked. I know that before one can open a school or even run it, there are lots of standard procedures, requirements, checks that you can follow. Is it that those standard procedures, people have come down on such standard procedures that now make people to freely open and run private schools? What is the ministry doing to get them registered, those that are not yet registered? Because I went to government school, in my secondary school, I went to government school. So I'm thinking aloud, what could be making parents to send their children to private schools? Is it that the teachers they no longer teach or what? Or is it that the standard of education in the public schools, which are adjudged to be the best, is it that the standard of education in public schools have dropped? What is really going on? What is the ministry doing to restore back the confidence parents have in public schools? And also, what is the ministry doing to checkmate those private schools, what they are doing, and how they get their operational papers, why they are in existence?
There are laws regulating them. It is the duty of this ministry to do that. What happens actually is that the moment you go for inspection and give approval for the establishment of such schools, they go ahead. There is a guideline for you to write any exams. You must come for approval. And there are plans and guidelines for renewal, so that from time to time, the ministry will go on inspections. This is Nigeria. This is Imo State. Private schools are established first and foremost not to expand the frontiers of learning and teaching. It is purely a business organization, business venture. That's what I have realized since I came on board. And I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about that. Before you are recognized, you provide a list of your teachers
and their
qualifications and the number. Then as you increase in growth, you supply new additional information to match the new level. But what I have discovered is that some of these people they present are not the real teachers in these schools.
So you don't go
and we are now ensuring that if we go on inspection, you provide the list and we enter classrooms to check. Before I came, there was a special task force that was moving from place to place to see that these things are done appropriately. But I discovered that some of these members of the task force compromised because of the Nigerian factor. When I took a trip to selected private schools, which I got the report that they were up and doing, I discovered that some of the reports were false. And what I did to put the record straight is to step down the task force. Most of these private schools don't come for renewal. I've written a letter to each of the schools. We will go on air very soon. Members of the ministry, not the task force, will embark on sporadic inspections. We've told them to go through the records and know when they paid last for renewal, and they should pay through the TSA. They cannot be there. What they do is to pay. They don't pay anything to the ministry.
They will pay and bring the TSA
yes, to the ministry. That's what we collect. So they are cheating government. They are cheating government. And we told some of them to provide the facilities that are not there. Ab initio, some of these facilities must be there before approval. But because of the Nigerian factor, as I said, some of them, a school that needs about 3 toilets may provide only 1, which is not acceptable at all. So we've told the proprietors to make sure that things are done in the right way. And when we begin, what people will do is to talk. We've told the proprietors this ministry is very ready to recognize some of these private schools because they are not living up to standards.
Shut them down.
Seriously. You made mention of
the
confidence of parents in public schools. I tell my children every day that I am a product of public schools.
Yes, I am too, Prof. I am too.
I never attended any private school. I was not even opportune to attend a nursery school. In these public schools, teachers are well trained. They are qualified. There is a curriculum that must be obeyed. And you must be certificated enough to teach in these public schools. It's part of the thing I'm telling the teachers through the principals, and I've organized a meeting with the NUT. We should blame ourselves if people are now leaving our own schools that are well staffed to private schools that use quacks, both in terms of material and other resources. Quack environment, quack teachers, and quack facilities. They cannot compete with public schools. So for us to allow our parents to take their ways to such schools, we are not doing any good service to them. But at times, this is due to ignorance. Some of these private schools are business centers. At school that they go from home to home, campaigning for students, promising parents that by the time they get to exam levels, they will assist them to write exams. That's where this idea of miracle centers begin. Many of them will apply to NECO, to WAEC for examinations. And I've told the WAEC coordinator in Imo State that you must get the consent of the ministry before you give approval to any private school.
Okay.
This is the law.
Exactly. So
This is the law.
The school,
They meet up with all the requirements.
the standard.
And some parents go to these private schools out of ignorance, and perhaps because they can negotiate with the proprietors. They will tell, if the school fees is 1 naira or 3 naira to do whatever, they cannot tell them that they pay when they have the resources. So there is no way any right-thinking parent can prefer private schools. Not all of them, oh. Some of the private schools are standard. I must confess. Some of them are standard. If you are going out of the ministry, you see one school opposite. I have told some private schools to go there, take a look at the environment, and know how to reorganize their schools. So we are not sleeping. We are worried, sincerely speaking. And these private schools don't want to comply with government directives, and the only thing we can do before long is to shut them down. Any of them that does not actually queue into the new system of providing the essential environment, facilities and personnel for their studies.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. And we look forward to the ministry sanitizing the educational system vis-a-vis the private school system.
Many parents are busy. Many of them are not at home by 2 o'clock.
That's correct.
And they are scared
Of what
to leave what they are doing and take their words back home
by that time?
and leave. They are not quite sure. And we've come to realize that the only way to assuage their fears is to advise heads of schools to organize lessons. These lessons are not compulsory for teachers. Teachers that are interested, and many of them are, do it at a regulated fee, which they share at the end of the season. This is to help parents take care of their ways until they come back in the evening to pick them. So it is not a new thing. The problem we have is that most of the students during holidays are not ready to go for extramural classes. We did it during our days.
Yes.
Many of them today are business inclined. They are waiting for the long vac to come for them to go and do one kind of business, both legitimate and illegitimate. But those who are focused still have the opportunity.
Some teachers and employers rejecting persons from the rural areas. Whenever they ask to go there, they reject it. And that is important. The rejection goes hand in hand with the collaboration of some staff and the Ministry of Education. So have you had any course to discipline any teacher that rejected posting to the rural areas? Have you had any course since you assumed office here as the Honorable Commissioner for Education?
The answer is yes. When I took over office, the first thing I did was to take a tour to some schools to assess things on ground. I discovered that the urban centers and semi-urban centers are loaded with teachers, both at the primary and secondary school level. I invited the executive secretary of SEMB and discussed with her and the team that this trend must not continue. As we are talking, I am insisting that any transfer to any place from now onwards must pass through the table of the commissioner. Any transfer to any place must pass through the table of the commissioner. Some teachers were transferred. If you want me to mention the schools, I mention the schools.
Okay, sir, go ahead.
Some teachers were transferred from city school to another school or some schools in the urban centers. And the ministry said no. This is not the right thing to do. The teachers that were transferred were not replaced. About 13 of them. And the students were suffering. The moment my attention was drawn to it, I gave instruction. And those teachers were brought back to the city school from where they were posted within the urban areas. If they were posted to the villages, I wouldn't have reacted. What I would have reacted is to transfer some people back to the school. So what is on board now, I am taking a kind of role of the number of teachers in every school.
A database.
Yes. I am discussing with the governor and he is highly interested to ensure that there is proper distribution of teachers. Not a question of many of them being concentrated in the urban centers. The governor has given the go-ahead order. I'm so happy. He said, do whatever you can to ensure that teachers are evenly distributed. And the question on sanction, yes, some teachers have been sanctioned. Some of them have been transferred forcefully, in quote. Those rejected such postings, we are now posted to areas further than where they rejected. That is the truth. Some of them that were not hidden to our thinness, we are punished with demotion.
Wow.
No regrets. Some of them were demoted to ensure that others comply. And as we are moving, I have told them to be ready. Very soon, there will be a total overhauling of the system. The only problem we have, you might close your stuff, is that at times when you do it, some people will just come and say, please, please. But to some people, I am a madman. I don't listen to such pleas.
Okay.
We must do the right thing at the right time. And the right time is now.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Do we have information? How do people now give capacity to education?
There are some terms I don't agree with. When we talk of free education is total. Free education is absolute. If you are running free education, it is tuition free, uniform free, standards free, biro free, everything is free. Even barbing your hair should be free. That is what is free education. And we misapply it. What government does is to subsidize education at the barest level. At the barest level. If not paying school fees at the primary school is what we term free education. Yes, we have free education. If paying school fees if not paying school fees is what determines free education at the tertiary level, yes, we are running free education. No person pays any tuition at the primary school level. No person pays any tuition at the post-secondary school level. No person pays any tuition at the secondary level. If that is the definition of free education, I am here answering you, yes, there is free education. But I don't believe in the freeness of education. Parents must make commitments. Parents must buy writing materials for their words. Parents must buy uniform for their words. Parents must provide food for their words. Parents should take care of the health of their words. If you are running absolute free education, all these things will be the responsibility of government. But there's no way government will do this. What government does is to subsidize education at the barest level, so that the poor of the poorest will have access to education. People were asking me, oh, you are from Imo State University. Do we have free education at Imo State University? And I will tell them, if payment of fees is what determines whether it is free education or not, I will tell you that no school fees is paid at Imo State University. No school fees is paid at Imo Polytechnics, Omoma. No school fees is paid at the University of Agric and Environment at Umwago. No school fees is paid at K.O. Mbadiwe University, Oboko. There is nothing like school fees. And if it is what determines free education, I will sit here to tell you that yes, we have free education. I will tell you we have free education. If non-payment of school fees is what qualifies something to be free, then I will tell you government does not charge 1 kobo as school fees in this state. Let me tell you, something happened at Omoma 3 weeks ago. A little auxiliary fee the students pay for their passports and for some sundry services, passports, laboratory, and stuff, laboratory tests, for you to get your X-ray. The students refused to pay it. They barricaded the gate. The information got to me. I called His Excellency. Look at what is happening. He said, what is the reason? I said, because they said they will not pay their ancillary fees until when they are ready, that they want to write exams without it. Governor told me to rush to Omoma to go and tell the rector and tell the students that they should move in and write the exams and forget about the ancillary fees. They are writing the exams now. I was at Umagwo at the University of Agric and Environmental Sciences. I represented the governor, and the governor told me to tell them that he will give extra money to those studying agricultural science in the school. They don't pay school fees, but he's thinking in terms of giving those of them reading active agriculture extra funds to ensure that they excel. So when people begin to say that the payment of school fees is a fluke in Imo State, I begin to laugh. I was telling somebody, if not by the grace of God and the intervention of government, I couldn't have maintained my scholarship program for some people in my area. Who am I to train people in most university up to 10 people at a go? Wow. There is no school fees, and many of us are leveraging on it. So I want you to categorize it so that people will get it right. People don't pay fees in Imo State from primary to tertiary, and I stand to defend it any day, anywhere. So if that is what you construe as free tuition, free education, yes, we are running free education. But I've given you my own ideas about what constitutes free education and other things.
So
we met. I was with the university by then. I'm still with them. We met and said, state government, please take a look at this. Our students outside the state are paying, and every student, both Cameroonians, Ghanaians that are in Nigeria, their students are in our schools here in Imo State. They don't pay fees. We now advise government, why not charge them a token? That was how the idea of paying 120 for non-indigens came up. Apart from this 120 paid by non-indigens, no single student from Imo State pays a dime at school fees in Imo State University and some other schools. So the 120 you hear is only for non-indigens. That is the truth.
I'm aware that there's nothing as school sports again.
Now for school games, I benefited from sports as a student from my secondary school days to the university. We have established a committee headed by the sports head of department sports unit here. Already we have enrolled in the Milo games, handball, to sensitize our students. And the head of sports has made a budget which we are going through to ensure that we bounce back our school sports activities. His office is opposite the other wing. I have told him that all works and no play will affect the students. We are coming back to that era. When we are going out, I'll show you where we keep our cups. I brought these ones out purposely to have an audience with His Excellency. This is the Governor's Cup.
The big one?
Yes. Then second, third. It is not the cup that matters, it is the incentive.
That's good.
I want to seek audience. You know what the season is like. She will tell you.
And governor is a sports.
Yes. I want to seek audience for us to. The head of department is the person delaying me because our governor is highly digital. If you present it, he will ask you at what cost. You mention 2 naira. If you mention 2 naira, some people will give you 2 naira. Our governor will go further to ask you, how did you arrive at 2 naira? The man is highly cerebral. I told the head of department of sports, I cannot go to the governor without detail by detail of what we are going to do. That is what is delaying this cup.
Okay.
I want to go and appeal to him so that he can now revive the governor's cup. Let us start from there. So there are plans. We've told schools, go back to inter-house sports, do it. We've told principals and schools, go back to Young Farmers Club. If every person should plan something, food scarcity will be reduced drastically. When we were in schools, we were doing a lot of farming. So every school that has available land, we've told to establish Young Farmers Club so that they can demonstrate. Recently, because of the COVID problem and because of some of the issues, cancer, we've also told principals to establish health clubs. Every school must have a health club where you teach students the basic hygiene and how to prevent some diseases. And we are now saying, when I taught some schools, they don't have first aid boxes. And I've told principals there must be a first aid box. And in appointing prefects, there must be an infirmarian. who will be in charge of the first aid boxes. So that when a student has a little problem, you can start first, stop bleeding first, revive somebody, and by his grace, I approach the NBA in Imo State, and they promise to help to establish health clubs and provide some facilities for us. So these are things we are doing so that the school system will bounce back to the good old days.
And restore back the confidence of parents.
Exactly. Yes.
My name is Ben Stanson. I don't be statesman, and I'm here representing Daily Trust. Commissioner, you've spoken well in the area of education. I have one question. Since this administration came on board, there will be strike. High institutions in the states and the local constructs. I want to know what's the matter.
I'm surprised you are asking for the magic. One good thing about this present administration is that it pays salaries regularly. It pays salary regularly. Teachers at whatever level go on strike when you deny them their salaries. If you are paid your salaries regularly, you can plan. I came from the university. There was a time we were owed 8 months. There was a time we were owed 7 months. There was a time we were owed 5 months, 4 months. But I want to let you know that since distinguished Senator Hope Uzodimma came on board as the governor of this state, salaries at Imo State University and other higher institutions, as well as the school system, are regular. Very regular. I don't know how to lie. The regularity of salaries at Imo State University, for example, made the union to say that it will be somehow for them to go on strike, local strike, that they can never do it. The time they embarked on strike, that was a national strike. But even at that, at a stage,
They came back.
because Imo State University is very strong. For the fact that they told them that they are pulling out of national strike, that they don't have any reason to be on strike in the state. That was part of the reasons why that strike was suspended.
Okay.
Yes. They know that if Imo State announces that they are pulling out of the strike, many universities, all the state universities will pull out. And if they pull out, the strike will collapse. So we don't have strikes because salaries are regular. There are few people, both at the primary, secondary, and tertiary level, that have one problem or the other.
Okay.
They are being rectified.
Okay.
If you go to the field, there are some people whose problems were rectified. They were paid.
Okay.
Those who had problems with their salaries, many of them were paid last month.
Okay.
Some new people were paid this month.
Wow.
So with the time, there is a committee the governor set up, looking into the papers. Those who don't have their salaries, I'm telling you, that are genuine, will be paid. The problem remains that government knows how to plug the hose.
Yeah.
There are some people who think that they are smart. Some people collect double salary. Some people collect 3. We must say the truth. I've told my colleagues who are in the field, my fellow workers, you cannot think that you are working in a local government, earning salary, working in the university, earning salary, working in the ministry, earning salary. So the idea is to make sure that they are harmonized. Which one do you want to belong? And I'm telling you, if government is wicked, those who are collecting multiple salaries should be actually Sanctioned. Seriously, until they pay to the last couple.
Because according to the civil service.
Right? Yes. So these are the issues. There are some workers who gain admission, go to the university without study leave, full time. And if you go to university or any institution without study leave, full time, and when you obtain the certificate, you report yourself. By saying that I need to be converted, you are reporting yourself. Okay. So that's the issue. Many of them had that problem without knowing. They will say, how did they know? You reported, I'm here, you bring a certificate, and I want to be converted. I will call for your file, and there is no study leave. You were there, going on school full time. You are reporting yourself. We put a question mark. Okay. There is no way you can go on full time without study leave. So these are some of the problems, but when you see some people in the opposition, they capitalize on it. Oh, people try to read while working and are not converted. Did they obtain permission to read? They did not. Okay. That is what is happening. Many people, some even get up to PhD level, working without permission, and you want government to recognize it. It is not possible.
Alvani Koku College of Education has been upgraded to a university. What is delaying the takeoff? Have they taken off, or then why is the takeoff being delayed?
Okay. It is only during this time that our governor left what he should be doing, went to Abuja and ensured that it is properly documented. So the new status was achieved by His Excellency. And it's supposed to be automatic. But there are some hitches. Some people will accuse me of saying the truth. I must always say the truth. Because if there is heaven, I would not like to miss heaven.
Okay.
The governor sat down here, working to ensure that the federal government converts it to university. Because of personal interest, are working from the other side to ensure that its implementation is delayed a little. Why? I said selfish interests. For the university, for the institution to be a federal university of education, there must be some adjustments and readjustments. One, not every staff on the teaching side will be qualified to enjoy certain positions. Two, there must be some adjustments. Some people might be stepped down from their ranks to bring them in line with university system. And thirdly, a professor must be appointed, the vice chancellor, and then the deputy vice chancellors. When you put all these things in place, you now see that there will be some dislocations. And those who are involved, honestly speaking, we are human beings. We fight to ensure that it is delayed a little before it comes into realization. So it is internal bickerings and selfish interests and manipulations that is delaying it. Our governor is a fighter. Our governor is a go-getter. We briefed him on what is happening, and I'm telling you, before long, he will handle the bull by the horn.
Okay, sir. If he could achieve that of
federal teaching hospital, good. Exactly.
I believe this is
exactly
a small
issue. So I don't know whether you understand what I said. The internal wranglings and fear of existence.
Okay.
You know? Because there must be adjustments.
Exactly.
You are here now. All of you are pressmen. Right? Yes. If there is a policy that says for you to be a pressman, you must as a matter of necessity, have a certificate in journalism or mass communication. Many people that are not there will fight. It's natural.
That's good.
I say it is natural. Somebody was asking me, am I justifying the actions of some people? I said, I'm not justifying it, but it's survival of the fittest. People have to, so that is what is happening at Harvard. That is the truth. That is the truth. The governor has tried. And from recent discussions, all these problems will be solved very soon.
Okay, sir.
Because, if Harvard is now made a university, changes.
Oh, yes.
Changes.
A lot will change.
Good.
Okay, sir.
The qualification will also change.
Okay,
Of course.
Those of them that have little or no qualification, is either they,
So a lot of things.
they go back to school.
So it's internal politics for survival. Yeah.
Okay, sir. On a final note, sir, what can you say are the government's programs for education in Imo State? On a final note.
Good. Our governor, distinguished Senator Hope Uzodimma, is educational friendly. I say it every day.
And what are your needs?
Is educational friendly.
Do you have any appeal to organized bodies or private bodies in terms of programs, the government programs for education in Imo State, and then any kind of appeal or remarks both to the parents, to business people, to Imolites in diaspora, alumni, and all that?
Well, I've told you time with that number. The government cannot do it alone. It is as a result of positive discussions with Excellency that we got to schools, PTAs, about the need for old boys, old girls, alumni to come to the edge of the system. It is also as a result of positive discussions with him that we are appealing to worthy individuals in the communities and in the states to assist in advancing the frontiers of education. The governor is actually working out a plan, and he has started of vetting all schools that are dilapidated. As I told you, from a fund from World Bank, primary schools are the first to benefit. Some schools are being, take a look at some schools. There are some new buildings coming up. As we are speaking, government has plans. It is burning in His Excellency's mind to employ more teachers, both at the primary and secondary schools. The template is ready, and the governor very soon will give the go-ahead to kick off the advert. First, primary school, after that primary school, secondary schools. These things will happen in quick succession, but the template and advert for primary schools is ready. So very soon, from what he discussed with me, over or at least 10,000 primary school teachers will be employed in the state. Quote me, you are closer to the Excellencies. Just ask him. We are not here. I told you I don't know how to tell lies.
Okay.
So it is on board.
So it is 10,000. There's going to be 10,000 jobs.
Yes.
In primary schools.
Alone. Yes. New jobs.
New jobs.
Yes.
Wow, that would be massive.
I'm telling you.
When would this start?
Any moment from now, as we are speaking.
The secondary school will be how many?
The gun is out. It's a question of touching the trigger.
Then how about the secondary school system?
No.
There are some vacancies in some
plenty.
schools. Lots of vacancies. You go to some schools, they'll tell you we don't have maths teacher.
It was done before this is have been done, both primary schools.
Both primary schools.
The governor doesn't want to just jam pack everything.
Okay.
Right? If you jam pack it, there'll be some logistic problems.
That's good.
The moment that of primary school,
It's done.
I just gave a metaphor. The gun is set. It's for just touching the trigger.
Okay.
Alright? Maybe I'm talking earlier than the governor, but we are here to showcase the state government. Right? The moment that our primary school is over, secondary schools will kickstart immediately. I don't know the number, but for primary schools, quote me, nothing less than 10,000 new jobs.
Wow. Bravo.
So as to make sure that our schools are regenerated for better.
And the confidence of parents
Exactly.
in public schools
Exactly.
restored.
Exactly. And in addition to that, communities were asked to make submissions before I came on board about the dilapidated schools. There are some town unions that are not proactive. Some of them did not submit. Those that submitted, if you go to the Ministry of Housing, they will tell you, we've put down everything. And they have started preparing on how to move into the schools to start renovation. That will show you the extent our governor actually wants to develop our schools.
Wow. Another aspect I want to talk about, before now, Imo State, we are always taking the first position after every examination sessions in Southeast. But suddenly, Imo State dropped. What really happened? And what are your plans to restore Imo State back to the first position, if not first, second, or even third?
Well, there is nothing as constant as change.
Oh my God.
All right?
Yes.
Every person wants to excel when it comes to competition.
Okay.
And in recent time, we can see some dislocations in the environmental system within Imo State. There are some places, if we tell ourselves the truth, there are some problems in attending to schools. The crisis affected the school system.
What crisis?
Insecurity affected the school system. But the major thing is that our students themselves are no longer paying attention to education. Some of them, as I said, are more interested in things that we need money. And they do certain things that are not authorized. They pay less attention to their books. They pay less attention to their books. It's a big problem. And many other states capitalize on it. But that does not mean that we are dropping. We are not dropping. From the report I got from JAM, all right, an Imo State student from a school, public school in Imo State, got the highest score.
Government college?
Yes, the highest score in JAM. Now, me, I'm meticulous. I like confirming things. Okay. I now went to JAM for authentication.
Okay.
And they told me that that thing they did was in order. But they didn't remember that another set of people wrote JAM last Saturday or Friday, I can't say for sure, that they're supposed to have waited for all the results to be collected before they now made that announcement. That if tomorrow the results come out and somebody scores higher, the results had not been released. That if by tomorrow these new results are released and somebody scores higher, that they will have a change. That was the situation, and that is the thing they told me. For now, they told me that thing they published, they ought to have waited for the final exam to be released. So when it is released, it may be the same boy or somebody might get something higher. And that why they are saying is that those who normally write last must have discussed with those who wrote earlier on the nature of the questions. And the nature of the questions are similar. That those who normally write last have advantage of, yes, that's what they do. The intelligent students will do some permutations from the previous ones and then score, yes.
And score high.
So that is the situation. Now, I will not tell it to an ordinary person. I must tell you people. So we are not going down. We are not going down at all.
Thank you, sir, for having us. We really had a good time with you, and the drill that you gave us will not be truncated.
Yes, there's a question he asked before. I didn't remember to respond to that.
Okay, what was that, sir?
You observed correctly about the nature of roads from Owerri to Olu, from Owerri to Okigwe, and recently from Owerri down to Mbise, Umaya axis. If you take a drive from Owerri to Olu, you'll be wondering whether this is the road you know. And if you make the mistake of driving that road in the night, you prefer to drive from Owerri to Olu during the night, not during the daytime, where you cruise. If the governor can do this road from Owerri to Olu, why do you think he cannot construct the road from Omona to Imsut or from Umowa to Imsut? It's a small stretch. The contract has been awarded.
Umowa Road.
To the Imsut. That road.
Okay, Umowa Road.
Get the road we are talking. If you are driving to Olu, from the right flank to Imsut. Yes. And then from Omona axis. From there to Imsut.
It has been awarded.
The road will be constructed. It has been constructed before. I don't know whether it was because of drainage problems. It got spoiled. But it's not a nightmare. As you described it. It is bad, but not nightmarish at all. So that road will be put in place very soon. If you go to that university teaching hospital, it meets all standards. It meets all standards. The governor, through his links, are getting a lot of facilities from his friends outside. The state is not actually using the money from the state coffers to fund. Many of the things there are free.
I thought the governor has brought in new facilities.
That's what I'm telling you.
He's bringing in more?
More.
Wow.
Through his friends and NGOs, contacts, yes. So that road will not be a problem. The provost actually visited, and that was one of the things governor promised to do. So that is a tiny stretch.
So we have a lot of stakeholders.
It's a tiny stretch. The University Road, yes.
Will soon be constructed.
Yes, Umona to Umowa, the University Road.
The University Road.
Yes.
Will soon be.
Yes, of course.
We have a lot of takeaways today. Thank you, sir. This is really a resourceful interview. You've really given us a lot of information to take home with. Thank you, sir, for having us.
God bless you.
Call it a day today. Thank you, sir.